everybody, it's Dr. Joe and Sweet Remy, and this is the pre-recorded but live streaming so I can check in with you guys about how to relieve knee pain with stretches. So it's going to be real time. We're going to go through everything. Remy's going to go do whatever she wants to do. And as we go along, if you want to shout out some comments, feel free. So we're going to get started. You're going to need a stretch strap. It doesn't have to be a stretch strap if you don't have one. You can use a belt or a dog leash. Maybe that's what Remy was going to go get. Or just a rope, but you want it to be something solid, not like the resistive bands. So this is great to use. And then it's going to be the traditional stretching where you're holding each stretch for 30 seconds and then doing that 3 times on each side. So even if you just have knee pain on one side, it's always best to work both sides if you have it. And before we get started, as always, check with your doctor to make sure it's okay for you to do stretches and exercises. And always, if it hurts, stop. So I'm going to get the timer started, and we're going to start off with a quad stretch. So you're going to get on your tummy, get the stretch strap. I'm actually going to get in the position first because it's a little bit of a setup. So when you're using your stretch strap, having a loop is great. Just putting it kind of around your ankle. This quad stretch is going to be on your tummy and prone. I know this might be uncomfortable position for a lot of people, so I have a lot of different ways you can do it. I'll talk about it a little bit more as we go, but this way is my favorite. So make sure that you have enough of the strap to kind of roll over and get into this position here. So I'm going to go ahead and get it. It's going to give us a little 10-second start. So with this, make sure you're comfortable. If propping up on your elbows makes your back sore, you can lie all the way down. So all you're going to do is use the stretch strap just to pull your heel towards your bottom. Just go to a comfortable position. It might be here, might be here, might be a lot closer to your bottom, but you want to feel tension, but you don't want to feel pain when you're stretching. You don't want to, be hoping that the 30 seconds is over in 10 seconds. So it should be a good stretch. You should feel it on the front of your thigh in that quad muscle area. And then once the stretch is over, make sure you're coming all the way back down. We're going to have about a 10-second break in between each one. It doesn't have to be that long, but you want to make sure you're completely resetting those muscles. So coming back, getting that nice stretch. Make sure that your heel is kind of in alignment with the top of your leg and the bottom portion of your leg. So not out to the side, not in. That's changing the muscle that you're stretching a little bit. And we're just going for that big quad muscle right now. So again, just going to tension, getting that nice comfortable stretch in there. And then if you want to do some nice deep breathing to help with that, you can. So again, coming back down, resetting those muscles. So don't just take the slack off, bring your leg all the way back down. And then coming back up. So if you can't get on your stomach, if this is uncomfortable, you can stretch it on your side, or you can even stretch in standing. But you really want that thigh to be straight. You don't want your hip to be bent. So that's why I like when you're lying on your tummy, because you can't really bend it because it's in that straight position. But you can definitely do it the other way. I have other videos for stretching your quads. So if this one doesn't quite work for you, you can check those out as well. So now we're going to have a minute-long break to kind of switch and move stuff around. If you got a few seconds, leave in the comments that you're here, and then if you're comfortable saying where you're from, then go ahead and do that. And so then I'm just switching to the other side and then coming over and getting into this position. And if you want to say hi to the puppies, you can. That was Remy. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know the other puppies. They're probably running around now having a good time, just hanging out. This break in between is a minute just because I wanted to make sure I could get into the position. But if you're doing it on your own, again, you don't have to take a long break in between the stretching, but you do want to let those muscles relax just for a little bit to kind of reset themselves. And then you can get back into going again. So getting ready to come up, and then again, just get that comfortable stretch. You might be able to see that one side on mine is better than the other, and that's probably going to be the same for you, especially if one side is painful and one side's not. But Sometimes you'd be surprised that the non-painful side is a little bit tight too. So that's why if you have time, it's always great to stretch both sides. And again, just making sure you're in a comfortable, relaxed position so you can really get that muscle stretched out. And then coming back down, getting that full reset, and then coming back up. Some people ask about the foot position, should I have it flexed? Should I have it pointed? When I'm stretching a muscle like my quad, I really want my foot just to be relaxed. I don't necessarily want to flex it because that's activating the calf. I don't want to point it because that's activating the anterior tibialis muscles in the front part of the shin. You really want to focus on the muscle that you're stretching, because if you're activating other muscles, sometimes you're going to inadvertently activate the muscle you're trying to stretch. So it's nice just to be as relaxed as you can. And again, as far as breathing, I'm talking, trying to give you some pointers and some extra tidbits, but if you want to do maybe something like diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, that a lot of times helps relax the whole body and relax the muscles that you're stretching, if you're able to comfortably do that. Or just say, I'm going to breathe in for 4 seconds and I'm going to breathe out for 4 seconds. Just sometimes focusing on your breathing helps your whole body relax a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to go into a hamstring stretch. So I'm just going to keep the strap on this side and then kind of bring the loop now to the ball of my foot here. When I'm doing a hamstring stretch lying down, I like to prop up the other side. That's just to take pressure off of my back. Some people like it down, that's fine. If it works for you, great. But again, I like to prop mine up because it just takes some pressure off my back. The key with a hamstring stretch is you want to keep your knee as straight as possible. The hamstrings cross that knee joint. So it comes all the way through here. So if you're stretching and you're bending your knee, you're not really going to stretch your hamstrings very much. So that's really the important part, is to keep the knee nice and straight. So while we're waiting a little bit more, if you want to put some more comments in, you can tell me which muscle of yours is the most sore, and then we'll get back into the stretching. So using the strap to come up to the stretch, again, try to keep that knee as straight as you possibly can, because if I'm getting really tight and it's hurting and I'm starting to bend my knee, now I'm not really stretching my hamstring at all. So if it's getting tight, then or if the knee is starting to bend because it's getting tight, then come back down a little bit, because it's more important to have that knee straightened and locked out so you can get the stretch in the hamstrings. Same thing with this one. Sometimes people will ask, well, should I pull my toes up so I'm getting that calf stretch as well? You can, but if your calf is tight too, then you might be missing out on that hamstring stretch. For example, if I wanted to stretch both while I'm up here, if I pull this more to get my toes to bend towards me, I'm feeling a calf stretch as well as a hamstring stretch. But if your calves are really tight and you're doing this, you might have to come back down a little bit, and then you're not getting that hamstring stretch. So you can play around with it a little bit and see what works for you. But usually I like to be a little bit just more relaxed at the calf area, unless maybe I'm pressed for time and I just want to stretch them both out, which you can certainly do that as well. We'll do a calf stretch at the end that just focuses on the calves. So then coming back up again, like I said, you want that knee to be straight. A lot of times once you get to like the 20-second mark of a stretch, if you're completely relaxed, you might feel that muscle letting go a little bit. And then you can bring it up a little bit higher to get more of a stretch again. Just make sure, again, you're going slow and gentle, and that it's not painful, but you're getting, that nice tension in there as you're stretching. All right, so we're going to switch over to the other side. Since this is an easy switch, we're going to have about a minute, a whole minute, that you can take that nice little break. If you've got some water and you want to drink some water and take a little break, you can. If you want to pet your pets, you can do that as well. If you happen to have cats, I like cats too. So you can tell me what kind of pets you have in the comments as well. And if you have frogs, lizards, snakes, those are all cool too. So I like all pets, but I have to say dogs are probably my favorite. And Remy is watching. You want to come back in? She says, no, she's snoozing for now. And she says, I'm out of here. She doesn't like to be in the spotlight, only sometimes. Okay, so getting ready in that position again, knee just propped up to take the pressure off of the back. The belt about at the ball of the foot. It doesn't have to be all the way up there unless you're stretching the calf as well. While you have your leg up here, you can pick some of the dog hairs off or cat hairs if you have some, or rabbits, anything with fur on there to distract you a little bit while you're stretching. But again, if you just want to do some nice deep breathing, that can really help too, especially if you're really tight or if you're just really kind of stiff in that whole knee joint area. And then coming back down. Make sure, again, you're bringing your leg all the way back down and resetting everything. So make sure those muscles completely relax before you come back up. And then coming into that nice stretch in there. If you have some arthritis in your hands and holding a strap or something like that is difficult, if they have loops, like a lot of times if you don't have a stretch strap but you have dog leashes with a little handle, sometimes you can do that and then it doesn't irritate the fingers quite as much. Or you could even bring it up a little bit higher and go to the wrist if you wanted to. But that leg is really relaxed and it's supported by the strap. So that helps. I have a little bit of arthritis in my hand. I've had some hand surgery, so sometimes that does make it feel a little bit uncomfortable grabbing on, and you can just kind of, put your hand through the loop like that. And then again, now I felt it letting go a little bit, so now I can pull it just a little bit higher as we go and get that good stretch in there. So another long break, we're going to switch again. So this time it's going to be an IT band stretch. IT band stretches are a little bit deceptive because you're not truly stretching your IT band, you're stretching the TFL, the tensor fascia lata that is connected to the IT band. But the IT band does stretch a little bit because it's a tendon. I know there will be some people that would like to argue that, but it does stretch a little bit, even if you're just saying it's stretching because you're stretching the tensor fascia lata up here. But the IT band comes down and crosses the knee, so that's why it's important if you have knee pain. Sometimes that tight IT band slash TFL is what's causing the issue. So kind of the same position as the hamstring stretch, except instead of propping up, this time just relax your leg because you're going to be crossing your leg across your body. Try and keep your hips down. A lot of times people will come up and they'll just bring their hips up like this, but now I'm actually stretching my back more than my IT band TFL. So coming up, maybe just put your hand on your hip so you know, and then just crossing over into that stretch right there. So now I should be feeling it anywhere at the knee, on the side, or even up into the hip area, depending on where that tight spot is in that IT band TFL area. But again, making sure that hip is staying down. So a lot of times if I just place my hand on top, then I know if I'm rolling over a little bit, then I can feel that and then kind of reset. So again, make sure everything's down, nice and relaxed. This time when we come up, sometimes it's good to play around with the height because if someone comes up high like this and goes over, they might feel it more in their hamstrings. So try a little bit lower if you're just feeling it in your hamstrings. And now I can feel a slightly different stretch, but still in that TFL IT band area. So you might have to play around with the height a little bit and see what works for you. Because a lot of times it's different for everybody. Where I feel the stretch on the height might be different for you. Usually I can feel mine just a little bit higher, but a lot of times people will feel it a little bit lower. So again, it's different for everybody. Same thing with all the stretches, like this one. It can be done lying on your side. It can be done standing. So there's definitely different ways to stretch these muscles. So again, if you're not comfortable doing these, like it's hard to get in the position or it's hard to lie down and get back up and things like that, I have a bunch of different ways to stretch all these, so you can definitely check those out and see which one works for you. Because just like the height position, this might be the best stretch for me, but another one might be better for you. So we have another little long break where this one is just basically switching sides. You might have to get up and switch your feet, just depending on how big your loop is and how mobile your feet are. So again, just in the comments, if you just want to chat about some things or just let me know how you're doing, how things are feeling. Are you liking these stretches so far? Like I said, this is pre-recorded, but we're live streaming it, so I'll be in the chat and answering, questions if I can, if they're appropriate for me to answer, or just kind of acknowledging and maybe throwing in some of my things as well, what hurts me the most and what muscles give me the most aches and pain, which is a lot, unfortunately. So I guess I'm in a good profession. I can fix myself most of the time, or at least I have friends who can help me fix those things. So again, coming back up, placing my hand on my hip, and then now just coming across this way. So you might be able to notice, it might be hard at the angle, but so my right side is more flexible than my left side. So I actually am able to drop it over a little bit more. So this is where you really want to pay attention to keeping that hip down, that I'm not just completely rolling over and then getting more of a back stretch versus the IT band and the TFL stretch. And then kind of the same with this one, that sometimes people ask about how to put your foot or where to place your foot. Do you want to flex it? Do you want to point it? Same kind of thing with this one. You might want to play around with it a little bit. Sometimes like pointing it and turning it in will give you a little bit more of a stretch. You might also then feel it all the way down to the side of your shin as well. Or pulling it up, you're going to get that little bit of a calf stretch too. But usually I prefer just kind of letting it relax, so then you're not trying to activate other muscles while you're trying to relax the muscles that you're stretching. And then same with this one, if your fingers are starting to wear out on you a little bit, you can take that loop and then just kind of put it around your whole hand so you're not stressing out those fingers. Don't want to get something else sore while you're trying to get something else better. Okay, so the next one is going to be the calf stretch that I was telling you about. So with this one, I like to do it in long sitting. I do understand that sometimes this long sitting where your legs are all the way out but you're sitting up is very uncomfortable for people to do. Sometimes you can bring this one in and take some pressure off of it. Or again, like I said, if this doesn't work for you, there's a lot of other calf stretch options where you can do it standing. You can do it completely lying down, but this is the one that I like and I prefer, so that's why I'm showing you this one. So taking that loop, again, putting it, this time you really want it to be at the ball of your foot, and that's because you want to be able to pull your toes up towards you, but you don't want the strap to fly off. So if it's too far up on your toes, it might slip off. And if it's too far like down into your arch, you're not really going to get a great stretch. So kind of finding that comfortable spot where you know you're going to get your stretch. And all you're doing is now just pulling. My heel might come up off of the, if I'm on the floor or the couch or the bed a little bit, and that's fine. For it to come up a little bit. And now I'm feeling it in that calf underneath there, a nice calf stretch. So I'm using the strap to pull my toes towards me. I'm not actively pulling my toes towards me. I'm using that strap or belt to pull towards me. And the calf muscles will relax, cross over that knee joint as well. So again, if those calf muscles are tight or something's going on with the calf muscles, that can cause that pressure in there as well. So of course, there's other muscles that attach to the knee or cross the knee that are around the knee, but these are the main ones that are the large muscle groups that are often the causers of tightness and pain, and they're fairly easy to stretch, so it's a great way to stretch it out. But as always, if you try some stretches and they're not really helping, go see a physical therapist. They can definitely modify things for you and give you some other tips as well. So if when you try some stuff on your own, it doesn't really seem like it's working, go talk to a physical therapist and let them evaluate you. And sometimes it'll only take a session or two to get you where you need to be to continue on your own. And same thing, I'm just relaxing my foot, so I'm not really trying to point it or flex it or move the toes at this point. I'm letting that strap do all of the stretching in there. Now we got a long break. This is another one where we're just kind of switching sides, but we've got a few moments. How do you like my socks? If you guys have followed along with a lot of my videos or seen my videos, you know I like the fun, silly socks. And so you might even get to try and guess what those are on there. But a lot of times there will be doggies on there, of course. But I do like the fun pink ones with the tips there. But tell me what kind of socks you like in the comments. Do you like fuzzy woolly socks? Do you like thin socks? Or just no socks at all? That is an option as well. So again, just kind of at the ball of the foot here, and not up on those toes because you don't want it slipping off on you and causing any kind of pain or anything. And again, if this isn't a comfortable, if you feel like you're slouching a lot, try a different position for sure. All right, so now just pulling back again. If that heel comes up a little bit, that's okay. Same thing, I didn't mention it on the other side, but it's usually not quite as much of people compensating, but you want your knee to be straight with this one as well. Since the calf muscles cross that joint, you want your knee to be straight. If you bend your knee, then you're going to be stretching a different muscle. You'll be stretching your soleus muscles underneath the calf, which is fine, but it's just a different stretch. So trying to keep that knee kind of locked out if you can, then that's going to give you the best calf stretch. And then pulling. And again, if you want to do some nice deep breathing, you can do the diaphragmatic breathing or the belly breathing. Or if you just want to say, I'm going to take a nice slow deep breath in for 4 and 5 seconds and then let it out to 4 or 5 seconds as well. Just getting that nice deep breathing to help those muscles relax a little bit. And again, always let that foot completely relax and kind of reset those muscles before you go back into the stretch. I'm going to pull a little bit more there at the end. I felt it loosening up a little bit. And then relaxing back down. So there you have it. Shoot me a comment or two to let me know if you liked the session. And don't forget to subscribe. And remember, be safe, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.